This is going to be a good one, folks. It's me, Jimothy, Garay versus Fruhdazi. It's round 5, which is lower bracket only. Fruhdazi coming off a loss last round. And Garay coming off a win in the lower bracket of last round. Now, they're both in the lower. And one of them has to go out in this particular set. Who's it going to be? Fruhdazi, a relative newcomer compared to Garay, started gaming around the same time I did and has now become one of the most formidable foes in all of Gen 3. Garay, much more experienced and multi-generational. Let's see how this goes. Suicune going to force out Tyranitar on turn 1. And Garay with an aggressive, calm mind. Now this it could be many things. It could actually choose to Hydro Pump this Bliss. It chooses to substitute. And Fruhdazi has Thunderbolt, which is pretty good to have here. Seismic Toss, not as good, but regrettably doesn't break a sub. I think that might be a roll to break the Suicune sub with Modest Blissey. It depends on the Suicune's EVs, of course, but Fruhdazi has a Calm Mind Blissey, which is perfect. That is a rough critical hit. That is perfect timing. I wonder if a Hydro Pump even KOs. Oh, of course it does. What am I saying? It crit anyway. Of course Hydro Pump KOs there. That is a rough sequence for Fruhdazi on the back foot, of course, here. At least has a Thunder Jirachi and gets some much needed good fortune there with a full para and a miss. But the Suicune connects with a Hydro Pump on the second turn. At least this Tyranitar is going to get rid of this problematic Suicune, but it has done serious damage to Fruhdazi. This is not a good start. In comes a Skarmory. Well, if layers get up, I think Fruhdazi could come back from this. We'll see. Looks like Choice Band damage with the Meteor Mash. Garay just choosing to continue clicking Meteor Mash. And now Fruhdazi putting on some pressure with a Charizard. And you know me, I love the Charizard Skarmory Spikes teams. We love to see it. Flamethrower. Choosing for accuracy over power. No Fire Blast. Could be Overheat Flamethrower. That's a set. Charizard is faster, but doesn't seem to have coverage for Salamence. Garay respecting coverage anyway, switching out to Snorlax in case. And Swampert, not a bad spot. Could go for a... I went for an Earthquake. Hydro Pump would have been good, but regrettably, Claydol has found an entry point to get rid of the Spike, but at the cost of 70% of its health from a Swampert Hydro Pump subsequently. So that's not too bad. Wonder if... Oh, nice move. Predicting a Explode there. And it's Regice in the back from Garay. Sometimes this can run Hidden Power Grass. We'll see if it does. Now, just Ice Beam. I mean, that's generally quite threatening to Swampert anyway. But it's damn slow. And Swampert looks like it can 2-hit from here with Earthquake. I wonder if the Regice will go for an Explosion, knowing that its time is up. Fruhdazi predicts it. Yes, very nice Explosion callouts from Fruhdazi. Even I thought that was a pretty clear Explosion turn from that Regice. Re-establish your layer. Sacrifice yourself in the process. The attack raise shouldn't matter as long as Charizard lands this KO. And Fruhdazi still applying some good pressure here. We'll see if it's Overheat. It might be. Overheat may have been worth clicking there to guarantee a KO on all Metagross. I don't know if Flamethrower gets there from Timid Charizard. Oh, it is Dragon Claw, so that's good. Didn't KO before, but with more Flamethrower chip it does. And just have to get through this Snorlax after a rocky start, recovering just from some good Explosion callouts. And nice pressure with a single Spike and Charizard can be all you need, honestly. Look at this. Choice Band Metagross still an actual threat, of course. But Swampert is very sturdy. It's going to get Torrent Hydro Pump here as well. And that's huge damage. And should be able to chip heal out of range of this Meteor Mash. And then KO back with an Earthquake. We can then... Yeah, just lives on 1%. And you got another Torrent Hydro Pump to click against this Snorlax. And I mean, Snorlax last can make miracles happen. We'll see if the Snorlax somehow snowballs to victory with, like, Curse, Rest, and... If it's Sleep Talk, it could. Goes for Earthquake instead of Hydro Pump, which could miss. So that's a way to lose, yeah. And Earthquake plus damage from this Tyranitar should be good enough. Yep, has a double edge, which is good neutral damage. Fruhdazi recovering from a terrible start. Very well there. Very nice gaming. No matter how bad it looks, always play it out, folks. We've got a Salamence lead matchup. Garay Oak, 1 game down. Going Hariyama into Salamence. That's not too common. Interesting. Maybe expecting Fruhdazi to just exit 2. Yeah. And just try to get a knockoff in the books. Knocking off a Magnet. I suppose that lets you live Thunderbolt on your Skarmory if you've got one in the back. But not the highest value knockoff I have ever seen. And at the cost of a lot of Hariyama health. But now we can sort of see why. Blissey has Wish on it. You could probably heal up Hariyama. Yep. Okay, so I take it back. That was a pretty good play. Planning to Wish the Hariyama. Fruhdazi does look like he's got a more aggressive team here. Probably looking to trap Garay Oak's Skarmory, which I'm sure there's a Skarmory in the back. I guess it's possible that there's not, but could be Paraspam or something. Could also be Forretress, actually, on Garay Oak, but either way, it's something that gets trapped by Mag that Fruhdazi is looking to find. Suicune gonna shrug that off like it's nothing. And the rise of what is probably Lumberry Dragonite Salamence continues. I've been seeing this set way more often. No, sorry, did Leftovers get knocked off? No, it didn't. Yeah, that's Lumberry or some other item on Dragonite Salamence there. And Garay Oak with actually just a really passive looking team. No Skarmory. Claydol though. I would expect a Skarmory here, but no Skarmory. Okay. A pretty passive... I don't know if I'd call it a stall. Just some sort of... Just a bunch of defensive fellows. So Fruhdazi is going to be the aggressor in this matchup for certain. Garay Oak going for a punch, actually. By the way, Skarmory has Hidden Power Ground. I didn't even process that. It's got Hidden Power... Must be Hidden Power Ground. Not going to be too useful in this particular matchup, but it does serve the purpose of breaking Focus Punch, so that's good. So for Garay Oak, the breakers on his team are the Salamence, the Yama, the Suicune. And I suppose this is not a bad bring in this particular situation because Fruhdazi's Magneton is not that useful here. There's nothing to trap with it. Metagross you can't really trap. I think that Garay Oak has a pretty good team here. Will Fruhdazi choose to explode? Yes. Not a bad play at all. Suicune is like probably the most powerful win condition on Garay Oak's team. So that is a good trade, I would say. And the Metagross, not too necessary to trap or check Tyranitar or anything. By the way, Quagsire is at the field. Hello. Fruhdazi with a dang Quagsire. We're cursing up. I mean, that would have been great against the Suicune. It's dead anyway. It's got Water Absorb on it. But hey, it's still a Curse Sweeper. It's still Water Ground type. I will say Blissey is doing pretty good damage against this with Ice Beam. Blissey would not be doing as much against a Swampert. We can tell you that much. Quagsire looking happy to be here. He's got a smile on his face. Everybody say hello to Quagsire. Part of the team. Gonna rest up. And Hariyama could just Focus Punch here. So the Quagsire... Actually goes for Knock Off and... Oh, I'm sorry. I think Salamence did get its item knocked off. It didn't say there was an item. I'm losing it, folks. Losing my grip on reality here. It should say if an item got knocked off on the UI thing. Hariyama going for Focus Punch. Metagross, switching in on a hidden power, flying. Skarmory, of course, exists. Fruhdazi almost out of steam here with a very low Salamence. How are you going to break through this one? What's the plan? You have spikes, but there's an easy Claydol in the back pocket. Garay Oak with a completely healthy Salamence, which is looking better and better against Fruhdazi's very weakened team here. And with Quagsire as the primary check, it's sleeping as well. It put itself to sleep. I think Garay Oak's Salamence is looking good. It's Toxic Hidden Power Ground. Gonna activate Guts. And knock off Leftovers. Let me just see. Does it show? Yeah, item Leftovers knocked off. Not sure why it's not showing that for this. Because it showed it for Skarmory. There. Anyway, that's besides the point. Back to reality. Goes for a Brick Break there. Maybe expecting Magneton to come in, but it's still doing good damage against a sleeping Quag, but Quag is now about to wake up. Is it going to curse? Went for Ice Beam. The straightforward threat against Salamence in front of it. This is a slower game. Fruhdazi usually known for bringing very aggressive teams. It's an interesting bring from him. Slightly uncharacteristic, but a cool team as well. Garay Oak kind of sidestepping the matchup. If you don't bring Skarmory, Magneton feels useless. And so does the whole plan of the team in general. I will say Garay Oak finding it a bit awkward to actually spin these spikes away. So you can't go Claydol against Blissey here. You can't spin against Skarmory. But Guts Boosted Hariyama going to be a good breaker. Especially in a world where Skarmory no longer has its leftovers. They've been knocked off. But there's the Claydol entry point that we so desperately needed, and a rapid spin will give significant breathing room to Garay Oak. Skarmory on its last legs. Fruhdazi does not have Wish on his Blissey. Soft-boiled last for certain. And Psychic will do the trick, 11%. And I mean, now this Claydol could just click Psychic if it wants. A Choice Band Brick Break will drop that Magneton. I don't think that crit mattered. No. I would say no. You could just go to... Yeah, Blissey will do the trick. It'll live this and KO back, surely. No, it's Brick Break Salamence. Never mind. Alright. So Fruhdazi has a chance here. KO's Salamence there. Brick Break is slightly uncommon on Salamence, but it's great to actually catch Blissey off guard. It was often used as a Salamence check. Fruhdazi knows when people explode. Sacks Quagsire, preserving Salamence, who is the important win con. And Fruhdazi has made this way closer than it should have been. Jeez. Claydol. Click Psychic into Blissey. Ah, this is an interesting one. This could go either way. If Claydol explodes here, I think it's over. Garay Oak gets Hariyama in, and I think that just won the set, because you could just... Not the set, the game. Because you could just Brick Break here. Goes for Focus Punch, actually. Oh! Fruhdazi calls it out! It's closer than I could have imagined. Oh, but, But Salamence comes in. It's going to drop. Is this a tie? This might be a tie because Hariyama dies here and Claydol can explode. I think Fruhdazi has... It's a tie. Fruhdazi turned this into a tie situation with the surprise Brick Break Salamence there. Concealed that all game, I think. Yeah. And at the last minute when Blissey just came in to crucially try and live that Salamence, what was expected to be a hidden power flying. Alright, so we're back to the same position. When there's a tie, you just play again. So Fruhdazi up 1-0. Alright. And a Venusaur lead, one of my favorite leads from Garay. Goes for Magical Leaf to just chip Tyranitar on the first turn here. And that'll be Overgrow, Magical Leaf, but an unfortunate Rock Slide Flinch there. As the risk you take, though, it might be better to just go to a Rock Resist instead there. Goes to Suicune. Do you not have a good Rock Resist here, Garay? No Swampert, it seems. Fruhdazi doesn't even risk it, though. The threat of losing Tyranitar there was too scary. Regrettably. Garay does have a Metagross. It might not be a sturdy Metagross, though, based on the gameplay. If you'd rather use Suicune. A nice double switch to Charizard, threatening this Skarmory. And Charizard looking excellent in this matchup here, isn't it? With Skarmbliss Tar. Oh, goes for the beat-up, the proactive beat-up on what was expected to be a Blissey switch in, but Fruhdazi went to the Salamence mid-ground. Charizard appears to be faster. I wonder if it has Hidden Power Ice. Fruhdazi's checking. There's Dragon Claw. Okay. So no Focus Punch to worry about. Fruhdazi's probably breathing a sigh of relief there. Focus Punch could have been really bad. But it's a beat-up Charizard instead. And Tyranitar could have two-hit that Metagross, but Garay didn't allow it. Going Suicune instead here. Oh, just a straightforward Hydro Pump takes out Tyranitar. Fruhdazi nervous to go to Blissey with all the gaming that's been had. Maybe Garay would have double switched to Metagross or Charizard, but an unexpected straightforward Hydro Pump earns a KO. That's... You love to see some nice mind games going on. An Earthquake crit has just done enormous damage to Swamp. It looks like Choice Band to Tyranitar there. Based off that damage, that was a lot. But Swampert, of course, famous for its Chip Heal ability. It's gonna recover from leftovers, but Garay predicts the Protect. Carmine's up. Oh boy. Metagross earning some Chip Heal. Looks like it is a pretty bulky Metagross, in fact. Nice double switch to Charizard again, and another beat up. But Fruhdazi stays in with Skarmory against Charizard, which is a crazy play, but it works. Fruhdazi said, I know what you want to do. I don't care if I'm risking my entire life. And again, another beat up, and Skarmory says, I will not falter, I'm staying in. I know that you could Fire Blast. Do I care? No. My resolve is strong. Makes a layer. And now we exit. I bet Garay clicks Fire Blast right here, and that's just Fruhdazi playing with his food. I mean, jeez. I mean, jeez, folks. Back to Skarmory for the fans at home. Charizard is getting demolished here. We hate to... You hate to see it. Or do you love to see it? I think you love to see it. Garay desperately trying to get one predict correct. Just one. Can we give him one? Swampert could just protect here and Charizard's deceased, but... Metagross pivots in on a protect. It's going to get some Chip Heal back. Recover from the spikes. Does Metagross really want to be in on Swampert, though? Well, apparently it has mixed coverage. It's got Psychic. Fruhdazi gonna just go to Jirachi, who tends to be pretty good against mixed Metagross. Could have Earthquake though, we'll see. Metagross has a Hidden Power Fire, which does a lot actually. It does 51. Alright. We could be gaming. What does Garay Oak have in the back pocket? A Jolteon. Not bad in this situation, but not. This looks like it should be a Spikes team, but there's no Spiker once again from Garay Oak. Jolteon tends to rely on Spikes for progress, but there's no Spikes to be had. Just Thunderbolting in the face of Blissey here. And it gets frozen. Which really puts the nail in the coffin, I think. That was lucky, but I gotta be honest, Garay Oak's position here was not great. I don't see this Jolteon achieving much of anything. All it could really do is Thunderbolt this Blissey for 18% and slowly die. Yeah, like, whether it got frozen or not, what is it, like, doing, you know? I suppose it could roar this Blissey out right now, but it's gonna pay with its life. No, it doesn't even roar it out. We're just Thunderbolting Blissey. It's pure desperation. I suppose Jolteon could be here as a late game cleaner. Relying on the threat of Charizard and Metagross and stuff. To chip down the enemy and allow Jolteon cleanup. But it didn't work out this game. Charizard got sidestepped. Metagross was dealt with very easily. Did get a power up, but Blissey just switches out and it's over. In that respect, Jolteon without Spikes, failing to get much done. Didn't get a flinch there. A flinch, we could have seen a different game with a flinch, maybe. But at the same time, Swampert is relatively healthy, so it could have stopped that Dragoness Tyranitar. When there's Suicune, there's a way. There's always a way with Suicune. We'll see. Ice Beam Freeze. Garay Oak is in true desperation mode here. Not only with the way he was using Jolteon, but the Ice Beam with the Suicune is a... And not even resting, going for Ice Beam again. That is the best out. I agree with the decision. In this position, you should go for something crazy like an Ice Beam Freeze. But it didn't come. It didn't come. We're dancing again. One flinch and maybe there's something to be had. You could get lucky against the Swampert. No flinch. But if we're being honest, I think Swampert would have just managed that anyway. Dragon Claw doesn't even KO this Skarmory. This Skarmory on 1%, the greatest taunt ever done. And it finally falls. Garay Oak at least wants to take out the Skarmory that ruined his life. At least get rid of that Skarmory. The one that took everything from me. And Charizard dies with Honor to the Sandstorm. And Fruhdazi with a 2-0 victory and a tie in the middle. To just enhance your odds of victory, denying Garay Oak a win. A point on the board. That was impressive to force a tie there. It could have even been a win for Fruhdazi with different sequencing. I suppose Garay Oak did well to create a tie rather than a loss. We could consider that too, but well done. Fruhdazi progressing to the next stage. We love to see it. Garay Oak, thank you for competing. Creative teams. Not bringing Spikes in situations where it seems like you should. Worked out for you in Game 2, sort of. In Game 3, not as much. You got slowly worn down here. Honestly, Fruhdazi kind of just outplayed the Charizard, which does happen. Charizard can be a prediction-reliant Pokemon. If you landed even a single one of those predicts, it was a different game. But Fruhdazi, it was Neo from the Matrix here. Just call a get out every time. And sometimes you just get got. What could be done? Thank you, folks. I'll catch you later. What a great set. See ya.